Hey guys, what's up? JK with Elevated Recovery here, and today we're going to talk about 5 ways that porn makes you an angry partner. Now, over the years, research has increasingly shed light on the negative effects of pornography on the brain. We all know that. The effects of pornography on behavior are particularly damaging to relationships due to how porn changes a man's view of the opposite sex, a man's view of women. Now, pornography increases objectification of women, and it also reduces a partner's ability to empathize or to express intimacy. Now, one thing to know is that there is a common effect of pornography on relationships that is rarely mentioned, and that's what I want to talk about today. And that is the connection between pornography and anger. Over the past 6 years, I've been offering accountability coaching to men who are struggling with a pornography or sex problem. I've noticed that anger is a common theme in almost all relationships, especially those relationships where pornography is present. One thing I've noticed is that often the women in the relationships are puzzled and confused when their partners begin to express an angry response that's not proportionate to the situation that triggered it. When you have disproportionate anger, it becomes even more risky when you have children, since children usually haven't developed the skills to process, at least in a healthy way, such extreme emotions from adults that they depend on. After working one-on-one with over 300 men who've been struggling with pornography, I've come up with 5 main reasons for anger in a relationship where porn is a problem. And I'd love to hear you guys' input in the comments when I'm done with this video, when you're done watching this video. Sometimes there may be, of course, other underlying issues facing a person which leads to anger, but when pornography is added to the mix, it will only serve to escalate that emotion. The first thing is shame. Porn use thrives in secrecy. For many men, the shame of watching pornography comes from repeatedly acting against their values. So your anger comes from the feeling that deep within you, you are inadequate. Think about it. Feel it. This becomes a belief that you are not worthy of being loved. And porn truly does kill love. Living in shame and being disconnected from love generates feelings of low value. It also generates feelings of lack of control over your life. Now, anger is an emotion which can mask these scary, vulnerable feelings. When you are angry, you feel as if you're back in control. You feel safe. The reality is that behind this illusion, behind this wall of anger, you still experience deep shame. You still experience loneliness, fear, sadness. The solution to shame is to always shine a light on it. To first take responsibility by admitting that you have a problem, and then reaching out to an understanding, trustworthy person or a community for support. The second thing is that porn leaves you disappointed. Porn promises many pleasures and many highs. It promises to make you feel better, to improve your mood, to satisfy your cravings, and much more. But at the end of the day, all it really does is leave you unsatisfied. It leaves you empty and, of course, angry. You feel cheated because now you realize, or you realized over time, that porn really doesn't deliver anything that it promises. Worse still, you're unable to stop going back to pornography, despite knowing that it offers nothing of value to you. So you can compare it to, it's similar to repeatedly going back to a relationship where the other partner hurt you, and You know this, but you went back and you got hurt again. So you generate anger and resentment, but not just towards that person, but towards yourself. Once bitten, twice shy. You know this, but you went back and you made a self-destructive decision again. So healthy, intimate sexual behavior doesn't leave you feeling cheated or taken advantage of. Instead, what it actually does is that it elevates your mood, it leaves you feeling better, and it actually deepens the intimacy between you and your partner. Now, giving healthy relationships a real chance will prove to you that as human beings, we are capable of much more than our most basic biological instincts. The human brain, it's a wonderful tool which can generate infinitely more satisfaction and happiness in your life through intimacy with one partner. Third is you have good intentions. So you are fully aware of the dangers of pornography. And let's say you're actively participating in not only creating awareness, but also in eliminating porn from your own life. Maybe you're a role model, or you're a leader, or a pastor, or a well-respected activist, somebody who shouldn't be using pornography. Okay, now obviously for a person with such a positive self-image, which you undoubtedly work really hard to develop, it can be challenging to face your failures, to face your slips and your shortcomings. The prospect of divulging the fact that you fell, that you screwed up to others, that's pretty daunting. Especially if your mistake is making you feel like a disappointment or a fraud. Unfortunately, keeping this secret to yourself only generates the very emotions that you have tried to help others to escape. And in this situation, it's quite natural for our minds to seek out someone or something to lay the blame on. Of course, anyone but yourself. And usually that person is the one who is closest to you, your partner. It's not unusual for me to hear men say, some of my coaching clients, JK, if my partner was just a little bit more open-minded, or my partner isn't sensitive enough, I need this, she doesn't know about my needs, or if only my partner wasn't so selfish, she doesn't give me what I need. If your partner was also an accountability partner, which I don't think is a good idea, but that's a different story, but an accountability partner who is aware of your struggle, it's also not uncommon to blame them for not being as quote-unquote committed to helping you. And now, since it's no longer your fault for slipping, you can take it out on this person or release the pressure of falling short of your self-image's expectations. Okay. Now, not to make a joke of it, I know it's a serious issue when you are on a pedestal and you're looked up and you're viewed as a role model. But at the end of the day, regardless of our good intentions, I want you to know that we are human. No one is perfect. And the best leaders are those who can, at the very least, admit their shortcomings, especially to those who are closest to them. I know it's scary. It's mad scary, okay? Instead of weakness, strength and freedom are created when you become vulnerable and give yourself a chance to renew your commitment to serving others and avoiding pornography. It's okay to hit that reset button and tell people, hey guys, I messed up. That doesn't make you any less of a leader. You're human. Fourth, your partner is getting in your way. Okay, now this is a big one. Now, since you've programmed yourself to derive more pleasure from pornography than from a healthy sexual connection with your partner, every moment when you feel an urge to view pornography, when your partner is around you, becomes a problem. And some of you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, you are going to know in a second. Your partner actually gets in the way of your relationship with porn. And this makes you very frustrated. Now, the more often that your damaging routine is disrupted, the more you direct your anger at your partner. And many spouses are often confused when one moment they were enjoying an intimate moment with their partner, and the next, their partner is expressing anger and acting as if their presence is just like absolutely unwelcome. They're like pissed off. They're like, hey, is there something we need to talk about? You're acting like you don't want me here. Of course, if there was no secrecy or shame attached to a behavior, you'd be able to express your emotions in a healthy way. In this case, despite your partner's well-meaning concern about your behavior, you just aren't ready to open up. The dangerous aspect of this situation is that while your anger stems from your partner's getting in the way of your porn use, the damage is far from done. Repeatedly directing your anger towards someone whom you care about, a person who you know is innocent, becomes emotionally incongruent. It doesn't match up over time. Therefore, after some time, your brain begins to find other reasons to justify your anger. Before you know it, all sorts of trivial issues become opportunities and evidence to become angry at your partner. I would love for you to realize, guys, that by expressing anger towards your partner based on your porn use, you're not only rejecting her, but you're choosing to allow fantasy to dictate your emotions in the real world. The fifth one, number 5, is discontent with your partner. Porn changes the brain. Repeated exposure to pornography alters your arousal templates. It changes the cues that arouse you, the things that get you turned on. Now, unlike the largely unrealistic scenes portrayed in pornography, your relationship isn't as versatile, and neither is your partner. Now, since it's impossible for your partner to simply change to keep up with your porn-induced preferences, you begin to start resenting the fact that you're with a person who doesn't live up to your expectations. Like literally, this person is not, they're not able to have sex for as long as the porn star that you watched. They're not able to be as kinky or as freaky or as whatever. And as absurd as it sounds, you become angry at your partner and your choice in a partner. Sometimes I have men email me or they talk to me on a coaching session and they go like, they're second guessing their relationships basically. And they're deluded into the belief that maybe they didn't pick the right partner or they could find a better one. I've literally had guys who tell me that they've looked at other women and just based on their body, which a lot of guys do anyway, they've just decided that this is a woman they would want to marry. This is a woman they would want to spend their entire life with because she matches what they have in their arousal template based on pornography. Anger is a normal human emotion. There are many situations where it's actually justified. However, like all human emotions, when it's expressed or prompted for the wrong reasons, it often hurts others. And before anger hurts others, you should know this. Anger hurts you first. Remember that porn fuses the parts of our brain which process violence and sexual arousal. So violence is often preceded by anger. Most men never imagine themselves as a violent person, especially in relationships with somebody you care for. However, I've often mentioned that you become what you eat. You eat junk, you're gonna look like junk. Be mindful of what you let into your brain so that you never have to look at yourself in the mirror one day, any day. I would never wish this on anyone. To look at yourself in the mirror and wonder how you strayed so far from the man, the brother, the father, or the husband that you once aspired to be. If you've enjoyed this video, by enjoy I mean if you found it helpful, share it with at least 3 people. There might be 3 other men, or even there's a woman out there who needs help. Subscribe to our channel. And if you need help, reach out to me. I can sit down with you. I can get on the phone. We can get on Skype for 20 minutes and see what your problem is and find out if we're a good fit to work together, or you can just get a session and work with me deeply for an hour on your biggest issue.